Well, hello and welcome to the bedroom of the dollhouse for another reading from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Joost for July 31st, the day of the human portrait here. And here we have us an image or an illustration, if you like, of one of them old-timey heavy suits for scuba diving, though I don't believe it's scuba. It's one of them suits with like the air hose that comes down from the boat above. So I think it's called something different. Anyway, he's got an umbrella in his hands. I don't know how that represents the human portrait, but maybe we'll find out. Seems like one of those things where they just had a whole bevy of different images and they're like, yeah, that one will work, that one will work. But hey, maybe they figured this one was just the right image. Let's find out, shall we? Hey, is it July 31st and it's your birthday today? Well, if it is, I just want to extend you a heartfelt happy birthday. And if you're finding this video long after your birthday has already come and gone, well, I hope you had a happy birthday. But for everyone else who's just joining us out of curiosity, I want to say hello and welcome. And I hope you enjoy yourself. All right, before we dive in with the birthday read, well, let's roll us some dice. Yeah, this is the Diecast birthday cast, so let's roll some dice. Live up to the namesake, shall we? And why might we be rolling dice, you may be wondering? For synchronicity's sake. And what did we roll today? A 5 and a 5. That's right. Old double 5. Straight to jail. That's right. As often as I roll them doubles. But a 5 and a 5 for 10. So a 5 in the crown and 5 in the root for you New Age chakra folks. I still haven't found out how to append that to the chakra practices, but one of these days I might find out. Maybe someone will let me know down in the comments. Who's to say? In the event, what synchronicity, you might just be wondering? Well, hey, it's nothing too elaborate. It's just the means of you asking the universe to show you the path or reach out and show you its power and its influence if you invite it. Because, a lot of us might not ever notice what the universe is doing for us. That's a lofty, harebrained idea. Well, you might just take your numbers, your 5 and 5 for 10, and put the intention out there that those are your numbers for the day. Go out into the world. Go on a little walk, say, down some streets in your hometown, and just be on the lookout for those numbers. It might be an address you notice. Well, go on in, number 55 on 10th Street. Hey, what's in here? It's an old antique shop, and what do you find? Hey, a lamp that you were looking for and you could never find. Maybe it was your grandma's old lamp, say. Like right there. And you always wanted you one, but you could never find it. Well, hey, it's the universe looking out for you. But it doesn't always have to be some grandiose gesture or event or life-changing thing. It might just be something as simple as a license plate that pops up when you're least expecting it. Maybe you follow that car for about 5 minutes and takes you right home, or who knows. But it might just be something that you wouldn't have otherwise seen or heard, and it just makes you realize the universe is looking out for you. So give it a try if you're interested, or just let it go. I'm not here to judge. So let's dive in with your birthday read, shall we? Your month is July, your day the 31st, your sign is 7 to 9 degrees Leo, of the Leo 1 period specifically there, and your quality and element is fixed fire. July 31st, the day of the human portrait. Those born on July 31 take a special interest in what it means to be a human being. Philosophical or moral questions concerning the nature of humanity absorb them, especially where unusual and abnormal aspects of people are concerned. Consequently, no question concerning the behavior of mankind is off limits to them, and rarely will a subject be too upsetting to examine and discuss. Stories of persecution, imprisonment, tyranny, and torture may hold a fascination for those born on this day, as do martyrs, saints, and other highly spiritual figures, and their acts of kindness and courage. This is not to suggest that those born on this day reserve their interest in humankind to the exceptional alone. No, sir. On the contrary, they are absorbed with the everyday life, customs, and habits of people. July 31 people have a great need to share and communicate what they have learned, and the more introverted personalities born on this day often record their impressions in writing, to say diaries, letters, essays, or fine arts, particularly drawing and painting. Extroverted July 31 people may wish to make their contribution through direct social interaction. In either case, there is a marked descriptive or visual talent associated with those born on this day. Both the introverted and extroverted types often display an interest in promoting their notion of the ideal man or woman, or the ideal society. Most July 31 people put their work ahead of all else, which may not always make them the favorite of their family and friends. As family members, they are not infrequently the subject of controversy and the object of criticism. Some July 31 people may even choose to live alone precisely for this reason. It is as if they are too much involved with mankind in general to have time for the great deal of personal interaction. Those born in this day generally have a practical, realistic outlook, but may tend at times toward the pessimistic. If their assessment of life around them becomes overly negative and then gets turned inward, well, it can make for true unhappiness. Thus, the realism of July 31 people can be valuable and healthy, but must never become a destructive negativity. And those born on this day must remind themselves that the immediate world around them can be greatly improved through their efforts, and that their dedication to more universal social issues may be of less usefulness. Perhaps practicing daily acts of kindness themselves constitutes their best chance of becoming the ideal human being they so greatly admire. Well, all right. And what did I have to say about the breakdown? Let's dive in to the notes. All right, for July 31. The human portrait old-timey scuba diver with an umbrella. I made sure to make note of that because I was like, this seems a little bit awkward. But, if you didn't notice, maybe you didn't remember, they have a penchant or a fascination for the behavior of mankind that is sometimes the unusual or the abnormal aspects. So perhaps they saw that image and they go, you know what? That makes just the right image. So, hey, it just occurred to me while I was talking to you about it earlier that, hey, that must be why. Because I remembered that. All right, hey, let's dive into the notes, all right? Takes a special interest in what it means to be human and people's unusual or abnormal qualities. So a psychology or a humanities major, it sounds like. So I wrote here, I like this quality that no question or subject is off limits or exploration. I like to think I have a bit of the same penchant, all right? And I like to think, anyway. If it mentions you have this quality, you probably make me blush, all right? So just be mindful of that quality, however. In my own experience, it hasn't done me many favors. It might get a laugh time or two, but 99 out of 100 times, it gets me nowhere. Sometimes people think you're a little creepy if you decide to go blue, and so just be mindful of the times we live in and read the room. That's my advice here. Because I have some horror stories, let me tell you. So listen to your inner voice and follow your instinct. If you're telling yourself that, hey, this might not be the best time, you're probably right. All right, so what else we got here? You and I also share an intrinsic desire to share what we've learned, assuming that that's true of you anyhow. And I find this often bores people, and I save a lot of my own time keeping those kinds of things to myself. Not that I don't highly endorse it. I do it all the time, as you can see. But yeah, once again, follow your instincts and try to pick up on them social cues. If people don't want to listen to your stories, it's probably written all over their face, all right? I also, see here, keep things to myself. There's something I've learned, all right? Not to make this about me. All right, but I don't journal, so I'm not like the introverted folks on your day, even though I am a bit of an introvert. I think to say my time is precious, and I have no desire to spend it on that, outside of writing little notes here, right? Let's see, what else we got here? But fine arts and drawing, I do that. But again, this isn't about me. I'm just trying to find ways to empathize and sympathize with you and identify, I suppose. What else do we write here? But do you promote the notion of the ideal man or woman? That's interesting, and that's unique. I haven't seen that written in the book here thus far. And I like that they mention a focus on the work wouldn't make you a favorite with a family and friends, but seemingly a favorite to criticize because of your work. Your friends and family don't like that certain aspect of it. But yeah, that's interesting. They would be so quick to criticize. All right, what else is right here? Probably all that talking about uncomfortable subjects too, which they might lead to criticize you about. What else we got here? It seems that living alone is a bit of an overreaction, though, if that's what happens to you. But no judgment. Once again, same here. All right, but that's about me again. All right, but yeah, be careful about assessing yourself negatively. Okay, I know that one personally. At least too much. I think a little bit, a healthy dose of that counter criticism is healthy, and it also the world around you can get greatly improved if you resist that notion. Albeit, if you're into the fine arts world, a lot of fine arts and humanities, they need that negativity, because I would say that's something that resounds the most popularly. But on the flip side, if you do something real positive, you do a drama that is powerful and positive, that can have a huge effect too. So yeah, don't throw it in the trash per se. Could be useful. Just make note of it in your journal, I guess, right? And what else did I write here? So direct it there if need be. That's where you put that negative energy into your work and your arts. All right, but yeah, try becoming that ideal human that you pontificate upon instead of pontificating upon it. That's time well spent. All right, let's dive in with your numbers and your planets. Those born on the 31st of the month are ruled by the number 4. Ooh, same here. But once again, this isn't about me. 3 plus 1 equals 4. And by the planet Uranus. So, also like that. All right, since only 7 months have a 31st day, it is an unusual number for a birthday. And people born on the 31st are often difficult for others to understand. Those ruled by the number 4 can also be opinionated and rather argumentative. Though they may present a forceful image, they are actually very vulnerable to emotional hurt and rejection. And the planet Uranus indicates explosiveness and changeability, qualities heightened in July 31 people by the strong influence and the hot energy of the Sun, the ruler of Leo. All right, hey, what did I have to say about your numbers and your planets? Oh, hey, the number 4. Perhaps that explains some of the similarities. That's interesting. Albeit the highly opinionated, argumentative aspect isn't one I'd necessarily agree with. If I were to talk about me for a moment, no. But I think it provides context that sometimes these things don't apply. I'd argue, anyhow, if I were to give my high opinion. All right. Did I drill down on that? See, yeah. Let's say that I got that in the can there. Your numbers and your planets. But what's of interesting note, if I'm going to make this about me again for a moment, when it brings up Uranus for me and just about everybody who's number 4, but usually on the number 4 day or the 22nd, they say that they are not changeable, but erratic. So you have a difference there. You have changeability, where the rest of us Uranus folks are ruled by erratic, and explosiveness. So let's dive in to your tarot. 4th card of the major arcana is the Emperor, who rules over concrete and worldly things through wisdom, the primary source of his power. The Emperor is stable and wise, and the force of his authority cannot be questioned. The positive associations of this card are strong willpower and steadfast energy. Negative indications include stubbornness, tyranny, and even brutality. Okay, what did I have to say about your tarot? The force of his authority cannot be questioned. All right, he is stable and wise, and perhaps from all that vulnerability and emotional hurt from rejection. Question mark. Where else does wisdom come from than those seemingly disastrous experiences? Something to think about. Keep up that steadfast energy and that willpower, even when you feel like it's wanting. Just keep pushing, all right? But I have to argue that that goes hand in glove with stubbornness, which was in a negative context, as it was mentioned. Although I can see how tyranny and brutality can also come from emotional hurt and rejection. So just try to find you the willingness to look to the positive, all right? Let's move on to your health. Those born on 31st must beware of neglecting their health. They may be so taken up with the welfare of others or in intellectual concerns that they forget about the importance of a balanced diet, healthy sleep patterns, and constructive physical exercise. A well-balanced diet with high proportions of grains, fresh fruits and vegetables, and a moderate but regular protein intake is suggested. Endless ruminations may cause insomnia in July 31 people if they are unable to clear their screen at bedtime. Any healthy pursuits that helps take them out of such a pattern, such as reading, meditation, or perhaps sex or conversation, is a good idea. The above-mentioned interest in human behavior and interaction makes team sports attractive to many July 31 people, but unless professional athletes, those born on this day should keep their involvement at a moderate level. Okay, what I have to say about your health. Don't neglect your health. Be mindful if you like. I will say it's not unique entry that folks concern themselves with others over themselves. But what is interesting is the seeming focus on solitude mentioned earlier, and that you bring that over and contrast that with a concern for other people, because you wouldn't think that would necessarily be the case. Now, you might study folks, but to be concerned with them, well, that's interesting. And it's kind of contrary to the assumption and the dynamic you'd expect. But yes, definitely find something to get involved in if you have issues like insomnia from not being able to turn off your mind, right? I know this from experience myself, yeah. Exhaust yourself or find a sense of daily fulfillment from which you can dive into, because at the end of the day, you're going to be exhausted and ready to turn in. That's what I had to say. Okay, hey, let's dive in to some advice. Don't let pessimism occupy a central position in your life and work. Your realism should not be a prescription for unhappiness. Share your knowledge and bring insight to those around you. Okay, hey, I think we said some of that stuff, didn't we? I think we discussed pessimism, letting it take over, but this is a good point. It can affect others, so why not affect them for the better, right? Or don't. That's up to you, right? So, but that's my shared insights. That's right. Okay, hey, let's move on to your meditation. Here's your meditation. All words are lies. Once again, all words are lies. Can't say I have any insight into that one. That's for you and you alone. Sometimes I drill down on some stuff to say in the moment, but not today. That one's just for you alone. All right, hey, let's dive in to your strengths and your weaknesses. All right, your strengths, you're observant, you're expressive, and you're visual. And your weaknesses, you're anxious, you're disturbed, and you're isolated. Take disturbed how you like. I can interpret that a number of different ways. But let's just say, like, on the inside, you're feeling a little bit disturbed. Not like, the dude's disturbed in the brain, man. He's up there, barking at cars and such. I would err with the former. Okay, hey, let's dive into those born on this day so we know what company July 31st people are in. I think sometimes it's interesting to not only see who we share a birthday with, but if they're a pop culture icon, we can kind of append everything we've learned onto them or identify some of what's been said and get a better snapshot for who was born on this day. All right, first we have Primo Levi, or Levi perhaps, an Italian Jewish writer of the periodic table and a World War II concentration camp survivor who later committed suicide, sadly. We have Milton Friedman, a U.S. Nobel Prize-winning economist, free market advocate, And they were responsible for Money Mischief. Assume it's a book. We have Jean Dubuffet, a sophisticated primitive painter. We also have Jacques Villon, a French cubist painter and brother of Marcel Duchamp, who was born only a couple days ago himself. We have Constant Permecki, who was a Belgian expressionist painter and sculptor. We have George Baxter, the British 19th century painter. Gerrit Benner, self-taught Dutch landscape abstract painter. Erich Heckel, a German expressionist graphic artist. I wonder what the difference is. We have Yvonne Goolagong, who's an Australian tennis champion, a two-time Wimbledon, four-time Australian Open winner. We have Arthur Daly, a New York Times Pulitzer Prize-winning sports columnist. We also have a writer of Times at Bat. We also have Kenny Burrell, jazz guitarist, Stanley Jordan, jazz guitarist and innovator, and approaches guitar like the piano, it says. We have Whitney M. Young, a social worker, a civil rights leader. We also have Geraldine Chaplin, a film actress. Hank Jones, jazz pianist. We also have Kurt Gowdy, radio and TV sportscaster. Jorge Sanaguines was a Bolivian film director of The Principal Enemy. We also have William Bennett, the Education Secretary and Director of the Office of the National Drug Control. We have Lynn Reed Banks, a British novelist of The L-Shaped Room, and Jonathan Dimbleby, the British journalist and biography of Father Richard Dimbleby. And let's take us out with your season is summer. Your sign, once again, is Leo, of the Leo 1 period specifically. And your quality and elements is fixed fire. And this has been July 31st, the day of the human portrait. Did you see yourself in any of that? Hey, I'd be interested in knowing in the comments if you did or if you didn't. But, who's to say? I didn't necessarily recognize my own birthday qualities until I did a little bit of self-assessment. That doesn't mean that applies to you, but hey, maybe it does. This stuff's fun and interesting, I found, and most folks I read them for, it does apply to them to some extent. And let me tell you, I've read quite a few of these already. They do drill down on differences. So, and sometimes I think the whole month of Taurus man, that whole thing can speak to me. So who's to say? But in any event, I got an affiliate link for this bad boy down in the description. If you're curious of picking up your own copy to grace your coffee table or your bookshelf, it makes a great icebreaker if you got company over. And for better or worse, it's going to get the conversation started. So if you're an introvert and need a little help with that, or if you're an extrovert and you just want to have a little fun there, well, hey, pick you up a copy. Or if you just want to support the channel, do your shopping through it. And that helped me out over here for more birthday readings. In any event, if it was July 31st today and today was your birthday, or your birthday, it just came and went, well, I just want to say happy birthday once again. And for everyone else who just joined us out of curiosity, I hope to see you on your birthday reading. All right, take care of yourselves now.